everyone. This is my fourth episode of my morning live streams this week. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about second chance romance as we count down and wait for my next episode on Patreon to come out today. And yesterday I gave a little bit of a spoiler of what was coming out on Patreon at the end of this week, since there is a short break from Powerless Season 2. But I don't want to get too much into it until the chapter drops at 6:15 a.m. So if you're here watching live, hi, welcome. If you can't watch it live and you're watching later, that's totally fine. Stick through the entire video. I think there will be lots in here that you will enjoy. And I'm going to read a chapter from one of my upcoming releases. Well, a segment of a chapter from one of my upcoming releases, which is not something that I normally do on the live streams or otherwise. And I think that you'll like that because it's not posted anywhere on the internet except for my Patreon so far. So if you are looking for that, stay tuned because that will be coming in this video. And if you see me glancing down, it's because I have some notes here. So I just want to make sure that I'm getting to all the points that I want to get to, because sometimes I forget my points and think that I don't have anything planned to say when I do. So to start off this video, like all the others, I'm just going to give a quick update on my work in progress, what I'm working on. So Scorpio King is basically in editing. It's nearly done. A few new chapters are going to be coming out on the Patreon for that, but I'm looking to put the entire ebook together and just get it up so you can pre-order it and get it delivered to your Kindle on November 9th. You can actually pre-order now if you want to. The URL is linked in my bio, or you could type in smarturl.it/Scorpio King and get to the book page. But that is almost done, so that's really nice. And I was writing yesterday Alexis and John's chapter in Long Island Butcher, and I think that was the majority of what I worked on yesterday. So that was really fun to do that opening scene, those opening scenes, and tease out more their first interactions with each other. Then I am taking a short writing break from Powerless 2 to work on chapters that I've already written and get those chapters scheduled out. I sometimes need to add more, flesh out details, and connect the dots a little better. So instead of writing new chapters, I am going to be editing and working on old chapters, old to me, so that I can post them, and they will be new to my readers when I am back from my little chapters hiatus on Patreon from Powerless. So while I'm on a chapters hiatus from Patreon in terms of posting Powerless 2, there are still chapters coming out every day. Yesterday on Patreon, I posted the prologue of Scorpio King. So when I originally wrote Scorpio King, there was no prologue, and then I added a 1,000-word prologue, which now is going to go at the beginning. And that's not what I'll be reading from today, but that is what I posted yesterday. So that was an entirely new chapter, and I'm kind of starting over with my fresh take on that book for my patrons the end of this week. So that is the main thing. Today, I wanted to talk about second chance romance stories, and so I pulled together a list of second chance romance stories from my catalog that I thought we could talk about to get into discussing the genre a little bit more. So I actually don't think I write second chance romance very much, but I have 2 out and 2 on the way. So these 2 are the main second chance romance stories I think I would direct readers to. This one is Extra Stuffing, which as you can see is a little shorter than Pretty Little Monster. Pretty Little Monster is around 80K words, and this one is a bit shorter. I don't actually remember how long it is. So Extra Stuffing is a standalone, and Pretty Little Monster is the first in series for a rock star romance. And actually, before I forget to mention it, the ebook to Pretty Little Monster is 99 cents this month only. I'm never discounting it this low again. So if you want to get your copy, the ebook is 99 cents and you can get that now. That's linked in my bio. It's on Amazon. And I think if you're looking for second chance romance, this is going to be actually cheaper than this one, but only literally for the next 2 days. So if you're watching this after September 30th, this doesn't apply, but before October 1st, you can get these books. So let's talk about first extra stuffing, because I think I've talked a little bit about Pretty Little Monster before, so I don't want you to get too bored. So let's talk about the couple in this book. The couple in this book are Peter, Roman, and Gracie, whose last name is escaping me even if I looked it up before this video. So they had a past together, and then Peter became a professional football player in the NFL, and he has reunited with Gracie, who does not trust that he really changed from the asshole who never put her first in the past. So one of my favorite things about this book, and kind of one of the reasons I think a lot of readers like it, is because it gets right into the action. The very first scene in the book is a sex scene. Let's take a little look at more what it looks like inside. So there is a lot of that in this book, and I think it's a pretty good second chance romance that's not on the long side. And there's a great sentence I just stumbled on, a great piece of dialogue. Do you think of anything other than football and sex? So if you don't think of anything else, this is the book for you. I would say it's not very heavy on the football part of being a football romance, because as I said before, I am a new football fan. I don't fully understand it. So this is definitely more about the sexy football player than any real football plot. So, and it's a second chance romance. So if you're looking for a bwwm story, black female lead, white alpha male hero, second chances, and athlete, sexy athlete, here we go. I was reading the comments on someone's Instagram post of what are the most overused careers in romance was the question. The author, I think it was Tay Monet, asked her audience, and so many people said athlete, and I'm like, yep, and here's another athlete book. So if that's something you're interested in, consider checking out Extra Stuffing. It kind of has a fall holiday theme. It's a New York City romance I really love. I will watch any rom-com that has that NYC aesthetic. That is one of my favorite things in like movie romantic comedies. So this book has a little bit of that. Sexy football player, black female lead. I think you'll like it. And my favorite part in this book is honestly the opening scene. That is sometimes good because it's like, well, does it get better than the opening scene? Yeah, sure. You're probably going to have other favorite parts different from what mine. But yeah, my favorite part of this book is the opening scene. Another great thing about this story is, yes, you can get the paperback. That's on Amazon, but you can get the ebook everywhere. So the ebook is on Google Play, Smashwords, iBooks, Nook, Kobo, Amazon, Indigo Chapters. There's this Australian one that I can't really remember right now. But if you try to find this book on pretty much any e-reader platform, you're going to get it. So that's one thing, that not all my books are out of KU. So if you want a book out of KU, consider this one. Second chance athlete, fall theme. I think you'll love it. So the next story is Pretty Little Monster, and I don't want to belabor this one because we did already talk about it in a different video, and I'm going to do a whole video on the Rockstar romance because I actually, and possibly even break it down like into one for each book, because there's a lot to say about this series, and I want to talk about it more. So let's take a look inside just so you can see. Right, so we have our page aesthetic here. This is a story about Angie and Sebastian, whose nickname is Seb in the book. So the premise for this book is similar to Long Island Executioner, and I definitely talked about this yesterday. So Angie is in a situation where she has to do some things that she wouldn't normally do for money, and she encounters a and she's very young and naive, and essentially her boyfriend is using her using her body to pay off his debt. He ain't shit, y'all. So her boyfriend is doing this, and then after that situation, she takes the money, she doesn't buy Plan B, she skips town, and she says goodbye to her boyfriend and Seb, the famous rock star who bought her body for a night, and she hopes to never see them again, except when she returns to Nashville, her hometown and the hometown of the famous rock star. Things do not go exactly as planned, and Angie's secrets are somehow uncovered. So this book is honestly one of my like all-time favorites. If I had to pick my top 3 books that I enjoy, that I've ever written, that I personally like the most, this would be in the top 3 probably every single time. I really liked writing this book. I liked doing a secret baby romance, which normally it's the sort of thing where I was having a conversation with a reader about this in the comments, where it's similar to in my Facebook group, which is it's similar to a fake relationship romance, where it's not really one of those tropes I'm drawn to, fake relationships or secret baby, but I feel like in this book it's very not to kind of like, I mean, this is my opinion, so you can check it out and see for yourself. But I think the secret baby plot makes enough sense that you won't get lost, and it makes for some very sexy moments between Angie and Seb. And I think they have some really great sex scenes in this book. My favorite part of this book is and I'm gonna say it in like clickbait type of ways, so to avoid spoiling it too much, it's when Seb kidnaps his daughter and takes her to have a special day with her dad. That is my favorite part of this book, and for once I didn't say it's the sex scenes, so that's a plus to me. Hi, Rayhan45, and hi to Mehanarusa Shima. I wanted to find a good time to pause and say hello to everyone who's joining for the actual live stream. So there's that. So what about the 2 upcoming second chance stories? So I don't have physical copies of those, so you'll just have to maybe listen to me talk, which hopefully is entertaining enough, and then after that I will read to you from one of the second chance stories. So let me start first with The Dirty Contract. The Dirty Contract is coming out October 12th, and it's sort of a friends to lovers second chance type of romance, where they were friends in the past, things didn't really work out, the timing was off, she was dating someone else, he was being a playboy, and they never got together. In the future, one or both of them gets drunk, boom, something happens, and it throws both of them for a loop because they never expected to explore these unexplored feelings. And also they discovered that they are quite sexually compatible in an extremely kinky manner. So if that sounds intriguing to you, consider checking it out. I've been posting these little snippets from The Dirty Contract, and some of my longtime readers might notice, hey, is this a republish? Yes, it's a republish. I took 2 short stories, added about 10 to 15K words to them, and that's not right. Added about 5 to 10K words to them. That's more on the somewhere around that. Put them together, changed the details of the plot, changed some of the characters, made the book a lot better. So that's kind of why I felt like I won't just update the books. I'll make something new, because it's essentially a much better story. It's a much better friends to lovers story, second chance story. And when I tend to do that, I go into the sex scenes with my Bob the Builder fit, and I deconstruct them and put them back together so they're much, much sexier. So if that's something that you're into, consider that. The couple in that book is Wilder and Robin. So hi, Visionaire Art. Thank you for joining this morning. So Wilder and Robin, and the premise of the book I basically just explained. And my favorite part of that book would have to be the first time they acknowledge their feelings for each other, and that they are going to do anything, no matter what anyone else says, to be together. So we're a couple minutes away from my Patreon chapter, which is very convenient because the next Patreon chapter and the next second chance book I have coming out are all connected. So the topics are going to flow nicely into each other. Let me just stop and take a drink of coffee. I'm having some decaf this morning, actually, because I drink way too much coffee and it is not healthy. So I am trying. All right, so what's the next second chance romance? What am I going to read today? I've teased it, I've mentioned it a bunch, and it is Adrian, Scorpio King, my next Zodiac romance. It hit 25K. I was aiming for 18K. It hit 25K yesterday when I was working on it, and I don't know if it will get to 30K, but it's at risk of getting close to 30K. So this was intended to be a short story. I'll talk a little bit more about it, and then I'll go read the sample chapter. When I'm reading the sample chapter, I might look a little uncomfortable, like looking up and away. So if you notice me doing that, it is simply because I am trying to read it and make eye contact, and I need to kind of practice that skill a little more. So, who are the couple in that book? So, we have Adrian and Colleen. Adrian, I picked names based on the zodiac themes for this series. So I looked up different names associated with the zodiac and tried to make a name that embodied my character. And so I came up with Adrian. And Colleen is actually the name of a patron. So at the $9.99 tier on my Patreon, your name gets tossed into the ring and I will use it in a book for a character, not necessarily a main character. Now, sometimes I take a long time to get to these. So because I am writing a lot and everything's planned out so far in advance that I have to kind of, and also I don't want to just throw it in there and like name a character after someone's name and it's like offensive because the character sucks. So I try to be careful and with that. But yes, Colleen is named after a subscriber. Hi Meek3131. Thanks for joining the live this morning. And so that's a couple in that book. They are people who knew each other in high school, but Colleen pursued Adrian and he turned her down in a way that really hurt her feelings and basically stopped her from ever putting herself out there again because she had so many doubts about her skin color based on the words that Adrian said to her those many years ago. Adrian was living that thug life. He was on drugs. He was doing and saying crazy racist shit to everybody. And at that point in time in his life, when right after this incident with Colleen, he ended up in prison. At the time of our book, Adrian is out of prison. Colleen is back in her hometown from college. She is trying to find the courage to put herself out there again. And I'm trying to give off the vibe that maybe she's thinking about dropping out of college because she misses her hometown. And Adrian has developed this idea in his mind, suffering from the guilt in prison, that he wants Colleen and he wants his second chance to live out his small town dreams. So that is the general premise. I made it sound like a really not freaky, but the way Adrian presents it in the book, you're going to be like, oh, he's a freak. And I mean that in the sexy freak kind of way, not the scary freak kind of way. So Adrian is going to be freaky. Adrian has a piercing down there. Adrian is covered in tattoos. He's it. He is. When I went into Scorpio Man, I was on full Halloween mode. So I put on my costume demon horns and I said, I'm going in. So this is it's not really a Halloween themed romance. And thank you, Visionaire Art. Visionaire Art said, for those not watching live, I love the chemistry between the two and I really appreciate it. I've been working on making it even better in the updated chapters, so hopefully that comes through. So my favorite part so far in the book is the party scene when Adrian and Colleen finally get to interact with each other for the first time. And that's all I can say without spoilers. I may have already given too many spoilers. And so what I thought I would do today is just give you the first, let's see, 250, 500, like the first, almost the entire first chapter. No, the first chapter is really long. Maybe a couple pages, okay? I was going to read a couple pages of the first chapter, so not the prologue. And if you want to stick around for that, cool. If you don't want to stick around for that, also cool. It's not going to be too long, but hopefully you will like that I'm reading an excerpt. And then after that, we'll talk about what's on Patreon. So this is chapter 1 from Colleen's perspective, and let me get started reading. My high school bully is at the stupid party tonight. 2 whole years later, and I still can't get rid of Adrian. Shouldn't his ass be in prison? Everyone in town knows that he helped. We all know what he was a part of. I know he's an evil bastard, but I can't help but wonder if the good I saw in him was ever real. He was my high school bully, yes, but he was also my crush. I watched him from a distance for about 3 years before I worked up the courage to talk to him, something I now regret. Even now, at this stupid high school party, I'm stuck with reminders of him. His friends are here for one thing, not the assholes who got him sent to prison, but the good guys who tried to get Adrian not to give it all up for drugs, booze, and hate. After all those years, it's been impossible to get Adrian off my mind, no matter how hard I try. He was the guy who taught me that I was totally worthless. I can't even walk past groups of men now because of what he said to me. I'll never get over the shame of working up the courage to approach him and spill my heart out and having Adrian reject me, publicly. Music throbs throughout the party, and I glance around at the familiar faces. That couple that looks like siblings are somehow still together from high school and furiously making out against the wall. A group of ex-football players stand around the dance floor comparing biceps. Ugh, I don't want to have to walk past them to find my friends. All guys ever do is remind you that if you're ugly, you're worthless. If you don't happen to look like a skinny, green-eyed biracial chick, you're not likely to be anyone's preference. It's not some bitter, dark-skinned shit I'm making up either. I'm on the light side of brown. People are bold, they talk reckless, and they're not afraid to spill their opinions on me and my skin color. I'm not talking bitter shit I made up in my head. I'm talking real life being black in a small town. You feel alone, always. When it comes to romance, you know you're not anyone's preference, and hell, around here, men won't even sleep with you in secret. It's isolating, lonely. It's hard not to take it personally. I hear a voice that sounds like his and glance nervously over my shoulder. It isn't him, thank God. Adrian should probably still be in prison right now or out on the road on his dumb dirt bike, getting into trouble with the white trash assholes who got him sent to prison in the first place. Adrian shouldn't be here at our unofficial high school Thanksgiving reunion party. If his friends are here, he's coming, and that worries the fuck out of me. I shouldn't have come here. I would have been much better off reminding myself that everyone here voted me least likely to get laid, including my best friends. Where the hell are they anyway? They wandered off for 2 minutes to get drinks. I search near the front door when I finally see him. I knew he would be here, but he must have gone out for a smoke. Typical Adrian. He was the first kid in our year to start smoking, and back then I used to think he was so fucking cool for it. He walks through the front door like he owns the place. He's tall, with dark hair and murky lake-colored eyes. He wears a pair of black ripped jeans and black combat boots. Would it be illegal for him to add some color to his wardrobe? Underneath his black t-shirt, it looks like Adrian added some ink. Did he seriously think he needed any more tattoos? He's like a walking fuckboy billboard. Adrian shrugs his leather jacket off his shoulders and hangs it up. Wow, he got built in prison. Before Adrian spots me, I disappear into the crowd to find my friends. Now I know he's here for sure, I need to avoid him. I'm out with Shandy and Michelle for the first time since high school, since everyone is back in town for Thanksgiving, and I need them to get back here immediately before Adrian sees me. If he sees me again, I know he'll humiliate me. I can't let that happen. Once you get a reputation in a town this small, it's impossible to lose. Hi, Queen Hazelnut. Let me get back to where I was. There we go. Being the weird black girl or the virgin loser are two reputations I found impossible to shake. Even college didn't help. My two best friends from high school stayed back in town instead of heading off to big cities for college, and they're both thriving here in this dumb town that I used to think was the worst place on earth. Finally, I see Michelle and Shandy approaching in hot new outfits, carrying the drinks we'll definitely need to get through tonight. I'm close to the end. Michelle thrusts a tequila shot into my hand and a giant red cup sloshing with beer into Shandy's. They both look amazing, with new dresses they bought with money from their fancy jobs and that new relationship glow they both have. Shandy got with one of the Miller boys, which I can't even believe. Those men all have the fiercest red hair and they're known for their bad tempers. I want to hear the whole story of how she got with her boss, but my friends all expect me to have hundreds of college hookup tales. I've never hooked up with anyone, not even a makeout. My lips have never touched another man's lips, and it's infuriating. Everyone in this town was probably right about me. They think I'm an inexperienced small-town freak, and word spread way too quickly that I was a virgin. I was still a virgin. Good luck getting laid as a virgin in this day and age, when half the 18-year-old girls have a webcam empire or post nothing but bikini pics. It's like I'm asexual to people because I'm a black woman with an imperfect body and a little bit of awkwardness. College sucks in comparison to the excitement my good friends have had staying in our hometown. I miss it. I've almost been at college 2 whole years, and I barely have any friends outside of the board game club. No guy has even looked in my direction. I take the tequila shot because, man, I'm going to need it to get through tonight. Adrian's here, and I don't want him to see me. While you've been off at college, Shandy's been getting her pussy licked by her boss. Michelle starts off unceremoniously. Cyrus is a freak. He likes to eat it from the back, allegedly. So we're going to stop here today. Hi to Book and Other and Christina C. Booth. And thank you to Visionaire Art for your comment. I see the goth style you were describing, but it gives his character edge. Thank you. So that is a little excerpt. That is the beginning of Scorpio King. This chapter is not going to be on my blog. It's only going to be on Patreon. And obviously, when the book comes out, the chapter is going to be in the book. I did not need to explain this to you. I think you understood. So now I'm pretty sure we are way past when my chapter drop was supposed to be. So let us take a look at the new posts that I have published. Okay, so today's chapter drop was basically what I just read to you and more. So on Patreon, there is that entire first chapter. It goes on way longer than the piece that I read. But yeah, it's still going. That is a Patreon exclusive early release. And I can safely say that patrons will get the entire book before it comes out. So if you are considering joining the Patreon and you're watching this video, now is a great time. www.patreon.com/JamilaJasper, or you can just check the link in my bio anytime. All tiers will be able to access the chapters. So if you're thinking 25 sounds like too much, you don't have to pay 25 to access the serial. It is just for the super fans of the serial who want to show their support. There's a $5, $10 option and more. So consider taking a look at it because that chapter plus the rest of it went live this morning. So I'm going to get a little close to wrapping it up. I wanted to answer one question, which was, will I write a second chance romance in the future? And the answer is yes. The next year, I'm like, next month? No, next year is going to be a second chance. There are going to be 1 to 2 second chance romance stories coming out. This year, I would say that Long Island Executioner, the first book, has a slight second chance plot. It's not yeah, it's a second chance romance. Honestly, it is a second chance romance. I'm going to just take a drink of water. I'm really thirsty. This is dented from me dropping it in the parking lot so much, if you're curious. Okay. So that is my will I write second chance in the future spiel. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about Scorpio King. What else is coming in Scorpio King? So I know some readers are tired of this, but there is going to be kind of a few trending topics in Scorpio King. One is second chance. The second is kind of like a bully, ex-bully situation. And the third is a breeding kink. All up and down the main author, like some of the top author Instagrams. Everywhere I look, there are breeding kink books, and I have been writing pregnancy and babies like in specifically for a while, and then not every book has them for a bit, and then now it's kind of up and down. But this book is focusing on the kink part of breeding kink. So there's a lot of dirty talk in this book. I would say that dirty talk makes up a good percentage of the words in the sex scenes. It's very sexy. I think it'll bring you right into the moment, and that is kind of the literal hot take on Scorpio King. So I don't really think I want to stay too much longer and get into any other topics because I did kind of read the chapter sample and talk for almost 30 minutes. So instead, I wanted to ask a couple questions to you that you could consider putting in the comments if you watch this video. And one, is there anything that you think that disqualifies someone from getting a second chance in romance or real life? If you made it all the way to the end of this video, definitely comment that either in the live stream or in the comments of the video afterwards. And then the second thing is, what do you think makes a good second chance romance? And that might be a little longer. So Let me know if you want to comment something like that. And then third question, and you can pick one or answer all three, is which theme do you think fits better for second chance romance? A bully second chance or a billionaire second chance? So those are my questions for you today. And as I do in every video, I'm going to just quickly summarize what I talked about. Tomorrow's video will be my last 6 a.m. video of the week, and then I'm changing up the live streams. My weekend streams are going to be at 11 a.m. Saturday and 11 a.m. Sunday, so consider tuning into those. So today we talked about what I'm working on. We talked about second chance romance. We went through and discussed both of these books, which are currently out, Extra Stuffing and Pretty Little Monster, which is discounted until the end of the month, so 2 more days. And then we talked about 2 unreleased books, which I don't have right now, and that is the October 12th release, The Dirty Contract, as well as the, where am I going with this? As well as the November 9th release, Scorpio King. There we go. And then my mafia romance does have a little bit of second chance in it, and that is Long Island Executioner, which I've already spoken about in a previous video, and that is coming out October 27th. So I don't want to spoil the live stream topics for tomorrow to you, and Visionaire Art says votes for billionaire second chance in the bully versus billionaire question. So again, if you're watching, answer the questions. That would be really cool to see everyone's responses. And that is all I have for you today. So I hope to see you tomorrow. If you're watching this video later, let me know. I really appreciate you coming today and listening to the chapter, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.
She be calling on a Monday, wanna meet on Tuesday, asking me to fix me up real nice. She can wait until the weekend, she wants off the deep end, telling me to bring the stuff I like. I don't wanna let her down, so